Okay, let's jump right in and talk about how a single piece of gear can totally change your photography game. We're going to break down the VILTROX 85mm F2.0 EVO and really get into the problems it solves and, more importantly, the creative doors it can swing wide open for you.
So first, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. It's that creative wall you hit. You know? That feeling when your photos are fine. They're good, but they're just not great. Something's missing.
Does this one hit a little too close to home? You've got the perfect subject. You've nailed the composition. But the final photo? It just lacks that punch, that cinematic pop that really makes a portrait grab you and not let go. And you know, a huge piece of that puzzle is light. The moment the sun starts to dip or you step inside, what do you have to do? You're forced to crank up your camera's ISO. And just like that, your beautiful, clean shot is suddenly covered in that distracting digital grain. Oh, and then there's this one, the sheer frustration of a slow lens. I mean, is there anything worse? You see that perfect, fleeting expression on someone's face, and your lens just hunts and misses the shot. That one-of-a-kind moment, poof, gone. And of course, the gear that promises to fix all of these problems, well, it usually comes with a price tag that feels, let's just say, completely out of reach. It feels like there's this huge financial wall between you and the images you can see so clearly in your head. But what if there was a tool that was specifically built to tear down those walls, to tackle these exact issues head-on? Well, this is where the VILTROX 85mm F2.0 EVO enters the conversation. You know, this quote really says it all. We're not just talking about another piece of glass here. This is framed as a solution. That phrase, meticulously engineered, that tells you every single part of this lens was designed with a purpose. And that engineering is built specifically for some of today's absolute workhorse cameras. We're talking Sony E and Nikon Z mounts for full-frame systems. So if you're shooting with something like a Sony A7IV, an A7C, or even the powerhouse A9 III, this lens is made to get the absolute most out of that amazing sensor. Okay, so now for the fun part. Let's pull back the curtain and see how this thing actually works. We're going to deconstruct the core features to really understand the magic behind the numbers. And it all kicks off with this number right here. 85mm. Now that is not some random focal length. In the world of photography, 85mm is legendary for a very, very good reason.
Yep, it's called the Portrait Prime. Why? Because it just makes people look good. It renders faces without that weird distortion you can get from a wider lens. And that beautiful compression they mentioned, it basically means the background gets pulled in just a little bit, creating this tight, focused look that makes your subject the absolute hero of the shot. Now take that legendary focal length and pair it with this next number, f2.0. To put it simply, an f2.0 aperture is huge. It's like opening a giant window to let in a massive amount of light. And this chart shows you the real-world difference. On the left, with that big f2.0 aperture, your subject just pops. You get that dreamy, blurry background, that beautiful bokeh we all chase after. But with a smaller aperture, the background can look busy and cluttered. And the biggest deal, f2.0 is a beast in low light, which means you can keep your ISO way down and get super clean images. Of course, none of that beautiful optical quality matters if you can't actually nail the focus, right? This takes us right back to that awful feeling of missing the shot. So the autofocus system here is designed to be ridiculously fast and accurate. It just locks on. Plus, it's quiet, which is a massive win for anybody shooting video. And it integrates perfectly with incredible tech like IAF, so you can just trust the lens to find and track the most important part of your photo every single time. Okay, so the tech specs are impressive, for sure. But let's look past the numbers for a second and talk about what this lens actually means for you as a creative person in the long run. See, every single design choice here gives you a direct benefit. The full-frame design, that means insane sharpness from one corner of your photo to the other. That EVO name, that's a promise of top-tier optical performance. And the solid, robust build, that just means you can trust it out on a shoot. It feels good in your hands, and it's reliable.
And really, this is the bottom line. It's an investment in your own art. It gives you all the tools you need for pro-level photos, that subject separation, that low-light capability, but it does it without that crazy price tag that usually comes with it. So that brings us to our final and honestly most important point. What does all of this tech, all of this design actually let you do? At the end of the day, this is the whole goal, isn't it? A great tool is one that gets out of your way. It removes the technical roadblocks so you can focus completely on your vision.
It's about giving you the power to create those stunning portraits and tell much, much more compelling stories with your camera.
And so we end with this question for you. Now that those barriers, price, low light, focus speed, are suddenly gone, what's left? Just your creativity, your vision. So the only real question is, what story are you going to tell?